Update. My 26 female fiancé is convinced I have a crush on my friend's husband. Original post. My best friend Sarah, 26 female, and her husband Matt, 28 male, have put me in a very difficult position with my fiancé Jack, 30 male. I knew Matt since my childhood. He was my neighbor and we were friendly. Sarah and I were roommates in college and became close friends. When I introduced Sarah and Matt, they hit it off and started dating each other. I was happy to see two of my friends get together, but also annoyed that I became the third wheel, and I was often ignored or set aside because they were so into each other. By the time I graduated, Matt had completely dropped me as a friend. That saddened me, but I was still good friends with Sarah, so it was what it was. Sarah and I would frequently hang out, but I never talked with Matt other than the occasional polite hellos. Sarah would sometimes try to do couples dates with her and Matt would meet my dates. And I found that Matt had developed an unpleasant personality and would frequently be rude and condescending towards me. However, he's a very devoted and loving husband to Sarah, so for her sake, I ignored him. When my fiancé and I got engaged, we had no plans to do a party. Sarah was disappointed that we didn't throw an engagement party, so she organized a small get-together at her home to celebrate us. The party was nice, and as things were winding down, my fiancé and I went to thank Sarah and Matt for their sweet gesture before we took our leave. Matt was pretty tipsy by then, and out of nowhere he suddenly hugged me, and in front of my fiancé said that he was so glad that I was finally settling down, that he is relieved that now I'll be over the crush I had on him. I was shocked and told him that wasn't true. He just laughed and told Jack that I was always chasing him, and he had to work hard to keep me away. I dragged Sarah in and asked her to please fix this mess, and she was all like, "Oh, he's drunk. Ignore him," and says, "You know I always trust you. I know you wouldn't act on your crush." Jack was pretty angry by this point, and he walked out. I ran after him and tried explaining that this isn't true, but he told me he doesn't want to be anyone's second choice or their backup plan. Since that night, he isn't talking to me or returning my calls. I've talked to Sarah multiple times to clear things with Jack, but she's brushing me off. I don't understand why they believe this or why she'd stay friends with me if she thought I was into her husband. I was in her wedding party and did all the work because her sister, who was the maid of honor, was too busy. I have helped her through her pregnancy and have babysat her kids so many times. She never gave me any indication she thought this. And why would she want me close to her family if she believed this? I feel humiliated that these people think I was pining away for a jerk like Matt. I need help in convincing Jack that this isn't true. I am also mad at him for throwing away our relationship over what some drunken idiot said. I don't know what I'm going to do about my friendship with Sarah. Now for the top advice before reading the updates. Sarah thinks it's true too. She was confident in her relationship and didn't see it as an issue, but I'm pretty sure she thought it as well. That's why she's brushing you off, because she agrees with him. For Matt to mess up your relationship that relieves him of the responsibility of thinking you have a crush on him is irony of the highest level. He's a prick to say that in front of Jack. Point out to her that her husband messed up your relationship, and you expect them to do something about it or you're through with them. I have no idea how to heal this with Jack. He likely won't listen unless he comes to his senses when he comes down. The issue is whether he'll communicate with you at all. But if he does, go full guns to how ridiculous it is that you got them together and would have never done that if you were after him yourself. Meanwhile, drop all contact with Sarah and Matt. They're just messing with your life, and they sound pretty smug and nasty to me. It sounds to me like Sarah thought it first, and when she told Matt he felt uncomfortable and that is why his behavior towards her changed all those years ago. And send a message to both Sarah and Matt saying how disappointed you are in them both, and that they have caused problems by saying something that isn't true. And then I'd screenshot it and send it to Jack. Then give him some space to process. Block Sarah and Matt. Good luck, OP. I think it's more what Sarah said that set Jack off. Friends usually know each other's secrets, so Sarah co-signing what Matt said holds more weight than if she had disagreed. Also, it's possible that Matt has made slick comments like this to Jack behind your back. Yes, I think this is right. I am trying to get Sarah to talk to Jack and deny this, but she's not doing that. I don't understand why she won't do this for me. Matt has probably lied to Sarah the same way he lied to Jack. Unless you can get Matt to confess, the best you can do is sit Sarah and Jack down. Make it clear you're committed to Jack, loyal to Sarah, and have zero feelings for Matt. Sarah and Matt are people you do not want in your life. If your fiancé is this insecure, I suggest you take a step back. Send him his ring and tell him that you will wait until he decides to believe the woman he claims to love. He also seems like a jerk by refusing to communicate. I do not see a great marriage if this is how he resolves conflict. I am quite desperate to not lose Jack, but I am also angry about his actions here. Don't care about Matt, but Sarah's lack of care is heartbreaking to me. First update. I talked to Sarah again and asked her first of all why she'd think I had a crush on Matt. She said that when I first introduced them, I had talked up Matt and gushed about him, and she took that as me being into him. I said I was fond of him since I've known him for a long time, but that doesn't mean I want to be with him. She said when they started dating, I was often upset about it. I said I wasn't upset about their dating. I was upset that she'd make plans with me and then leave me to be with him. And when we were all together, I didn't enjoy being the third wheel while they ignored me. That had nothing to do with wanting him and more to not liking being left out of my best friend. I asked her why she hadn't said anything before, and she explained that she could manage the situation. She had asked Matt to stop talking to me completely, and she engineered situations so there was little chance of us socializing with each other. I asked her now that I have explained that I never had a crush on Matt. Can you please talk to Jack and tell him? She said she didn't want to lie. This frustrated me immensely. She could ignore this imaginary crush for years and manipulate me, but won't talk to my fiancé to help my relationship. I told her I was done being her friend. Thinking back, I was always doing stuff for her and she used me but did little for me. Now for the second update. I wrote a long letter to Jack explaining the entire history of my relationship with Sarah and Matt with the recent screen caps. I asserted as best as I could that I had never pined after any guy, and I loved him and he was my only choice. After days of silence, Jack agreed to talk to me. We met and he said that he sees two ways of interpreting the situation. 1. Matt and Sarah are right and he doesn't want to be my second choice. 2. They are malicious people who are messing with me and that shows very poor judgment on my part that I'd have a best friend like this, and he doesn't want that quality in a life partner. Either possibility leads to the same conclusion, that he wants to call off the engagement. He reminded me that I had represented Sarah as one of the most important people in my life, that I'd jump up and help her all the time. I had once canceled plans with him to take care of her kid when the baby was sick. It had irked him, but he had seen it as me being caring and nice, but now he's seeing all that in a different light. I cried and begged him to not end our engagement, but he wanted a break for a while. I thought over what he said for a few days, and came to realize that he was right. I was a clingy friend and a doormat. I never even saw how much one-sided my friendship with Sarah was. I was a doormat with Jack too. I didn't want to get married or have kids this early but agreed to his timelines. I gave up exciting job opportunity with more money because he didn't want me traveling for work. I love him but I need to fix myself and be stronger. I gave back his ring and ended things. I returned all the gifts he gave too. He was offended by that but I didn't feel good about keeping the very expensive things he had given me. He makes a lot more than me and was very generous with what he gave me, but I can't keep that now. Sarah was quiet for a while, but then started calling me. I ignored a lot of her calls, but this morning I answered her call and told her about a breakup. I was looking for sympathy from my old friend, but she was more interested in knowing if I was still going to watch her kid while she and Matt went on an overnight trip. She got pretty angry when I said no. I have blocked her now. I've lost my fiancé, my best friend, and my relationship with my nephew whom I adored, all in one go. But still, I am thankful for the comments that showed this wasn't something I could fix, and helped me rip off the band-aid and walk away from this mess. Damn, Sarah's such an awful person. People are also glossing over the fact that apparently Sarah thought Opie had a huge crush on Matt before she and Matt had even met. So from Sarah's point of view, her bestie gushes about some guy she's known for ages and has a crush on. Sarah then continues to date the guy her friend is crushing on, and then purposefully destroys their decade-long friendship because she's uncomfortable with Opie's crush. Maybe if you can't handle your friend having a crush on your partner, don't pursue someone you know your friend has a crush on. This is Friendship 101. Don't go after the guys/girls that your friends like. If you do decide to do so, then don't have the nerve to then get upset about it as if it's anyone's fault but your own. What's the odds Sarah's marriage breaks down soon after she actually realizes that Opie was never into Matt, and she didn't win anything by getting with him? I can't set odds well, but I do consider myself a betting person from time to time, and I'd bet that what you're thinking is right along the lines of what I'm thinking. How much of the friendship between Opie and Sarah was ever actually a real friendship, even from the start? Because it kinda sounds like Sarah gets off on the idea of having her best friend's crush as her own, so to speak, and lording that information over everyone. Even ignoring all the backstory, imagine telling your best friend, "My fiancé and I broke up. Sorry I can't watch your kid right now," and them getting angry about it. Add in the "we broke up because of you," and that makes it 100 times worse. It's all fun and games until you lose your free babysitter. Yep, my best friend shat on me completely and I finally snapped and said no babysitting, and never spoke to her again. It was a huge weight off my shoulders though. Poor Opie. I've seen it before, but if you act like a doormat person, then you find yourself with people willing to take advantage of you. I hope she can work on herself and stand up for herself in the future. Hopefully without developing major trust issues too. This kind of situation can really mess with people. My ex-best friend who slept with my ex-girlfriend 3 years ago has gotten into contact with me. Hi, firstly, sorry this is my first time ever coming here about something, so I hope this gets somewhere. I'm 21 male and my ex-girlfriend 22 female now. We dated back in high school and we were a pretty solid relationship. Well, so I thought. I got kicked out of my mom's house pretty early into the relationship with her, and so I moved in with her and her family. We made it work terrifically. We would wake up, make lunch together, come home, make dinner, then watch a movie. We were always affectionate and intimate with one another. Fast forward 3 years into the relationship. I started hanging out with my best friend at a time, 23 male, for weeks on end, because me and my girlfriend were having problems communicating and being at home together, so I would stay at his. My ex-girlfriend asked to come stay over one night with us at his house, and we were more than okay with that. And when she came over, we all hung out as normal and everything. 2 weeks down the track, me and her both are pretty much staying at my best friend's house every day by this point, because we threw parties and everything. And they would go running off together somewhere when I'd be drunk and asleep in another room. I would catch them out a couple times for acting weird or being quiet the minute I came in the room. One night after my 18th, we threw a small get-together at my best friend's house for myself and to celebrate, and kind of get over the fact that my girlfriend broke up with me 8 hours after my 18th. And about 6 hours before this party, she came to the get-together and everyone who was invited stayed in a room with him and my ex-girlfriend while I was sitting outside drinking by myself. This night, both my best friend and my now ex-girlfriend asked me if they could have a night alone away from me and all the drama that had been going down. I didn't say no and agreed. That night, I drove past his house only to find her car there in his carport. Mind you, her best friend lived 2 minutes down the road and she chose to go see mine. It's pretty obvious what was going on, but my best friend got in contact with me a couple days ago and we spoke yesterday about everything they did behind my back. It went as far as my ex telling him that she loved him. Back then when it was all happening, I never got the answers I wanted. But now I have them and I don't know what to do. I miss the friendship we had and how close we were. I want to be his friend, but I'm also afraid of what all my friends now would think, as none of them like him for what he did to me. Should I just move on now that I have my answers, or do I become a friend? I'm not sure. What do you guys think? Now for the advice. Me personally, I wouldn't have a friendship with someone like that. They were being sneaky behind your back. Snake in the grass in my opinion. Yeah, that comes to my mind a lot, and I do forgive a lot too. You don't need a snake as a friend. You can forgive as it's healthy, but don't forget. Thank you. Could you really trust that guy again? I don't think so. Not completely anyway, and definitely don't think I'd be able to trust him to even be near or know what a future partner looks like. Why would you invite that dishonesty back into your life? He had a chance to be a good friend when you needed it and valued access to your ex more. He is not to be trusted. In life, you need to rely on others, and you need to have trust. It is too precious to waste on crap heads. I never seen it as inviting dishonesty, because he's the one that contacted me and wanted to talk about what happened and give me answers. I can completely see where you're coming from, and I completely agree. He had his chance and valued her more. It's all just bringing back a lot. Are they still together? If so, you're going to have to deal with her. No, she's currently dating someone else I know and has been for about 2.5 years now, maybe 3. It was about a month after me and her initially broke up that her and my best friend weren't in contact anymore. So they just hooked up to mess with you. Forget about this guy. You seem to be an emotionally vulnerable person. You became friends with him very quickly, and you're thinking of forgiving him. This is a great opportunity for people with no honor like him. Don't put yourself in that position of an easy prey. Be hard on those who are hard on you and be gentle with those who are gentle with you. The someone else you know wasn't another ex-friend, was it? It was.